Hello guys, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the 254 Paddock. This is our podcast on, this is the Formula 1 side. And thank God today I'm not shooting alone, man. Ivan.
Yeah, let's not have that happen again.
That was hard, man. That was hard. Anyway, let's begin. So today we're talking about Spain. It wasn't such an eventful race, to be honest.
That's normal for Spain. Spain hasn't been exciting for like the past 8 years. So.
And let's make something clear, Ivan. Mercedes, I don't think they ran any updates. Guys keep on saying that Mercedes sorted their heating issues. If they did, in Q3, on the second lap, why did they go slower? Why?
Yeah, I think... I don't actually remember from the tires, but I think they ran harder tires this time around.
It was harder. It was the first tire compound that was used in the first British Grand Prix. And something guys need to understand is that, someone's telling me the reason Mercedes went slow was because of track evolvement. When the track evolves, cars go quicker on the track, not slower, you see. So Mercedes did not... These guys, let's just be honest. They're going to win this season, but you see, they're still suffering from heat problems. Guys think just because the Red Bull suffered means that Mercedes have sorted their issues. No, they have not. Red Bull had a bad race. You see, one thing guys need to understand is that different track set layouts doesn't mean that the tires will act the same. Tires act differently in different places.
Yeah, you have to also remember that Silverstone is a very high-speed track, so there's a lot of high-speed corners, a lot of Gs. It's like one of the highest G corner circuits on the calendar, while Spain is completely the other way around.
Yes, exactly. And how tires will act in Spain is not the same way the tires are going to act.
Yeah, they don't go through as much stress as they did in Silverstone.
Yes. And Red Bull, I don't know what happened to Red. I think what messed up Red Bull's race was the beginning of the race where Hamilton played some rough game there, man. Where he was going slowly on purpose, and Max started complaining because Max knew that if this continues, it's going to affect him later on in the race, and it did. You see?
Yeah, I mean, it was mostly a strategy-based race, and for some reason, Red Bull's strategy just wasn't that good. For Max, it was okay. He still finished second, obviously, but for Albon, it was a lot worse. I think they just, their strategy wasn't their best.
Ivan, I think Red Bull have finally decided to just make Albon a guinea pig. Because
I don't think it's finally. I think it's been like that for a while.
Dude, they've been experimenting. They're experimenting with Albon during Sunday's race. Like, what is that? These guys properly experimented with Albon, man. It wasn't even... They weren't even hiding it. It was a proper experiment. But now there's something else we need to talk about. My team, sadly, is... it's disappointing, man. Sebastian, it's really disappointing.
Yes, speaking of strategy and not knowing what to do, let's talk about Ferrari.
It's really, really disappointing. That was so damn... But to be honest, Ferrari gave us a good race. Leclerc versus Norris, that was the most interesting thing we've seen this season. Let's not even lie to ourselves. That was fire.
Yeah, but you also have to just think about how far has Ferrari sort of gone down the pace that they're competing with McLaren now instead of the top two teams.
We've lost so much power, and I think right now, I already accepted Ferrari. We're not gonna win anything this year. Next year, maybe end of the season is when we're gonna win something. Now, the main focus for Ferrari is going to be they want to have the first step in the next regulations, which that will be with the Mercedes around, because Mercedes are not sleeping. Mercedes are not sleeping at all. You see, but
it's a bold way to go about it, but they do have the money to do it, so there is at least that.
Yes,
they're not risking too much financial woes by focusing on 2022.
Another problem is how Ferrari is treating Sebastian Vettel. It's like, guys keep on saying, now Ivan, yes, there's something I wanted to talk about. Guys keep on saying that Seb is slow. I remember we had this argument on the group, you remember? Guys keep on saying Sebastian is slow. Most guys do not pay attention to the times. If you can watch... The reason I watch practice is because practice shows us the car's outruns, the long run pace, and how it's going to do in the race. And from practice, you can tell who's gonna be the strongest in terms of pace and on which tire. You see, guys think that Sebastian, ever since his chassis was changed for the Spanish Grand Prix, and it showed a big difference. Let me not lie. It seemed like his chassis had, and Rosberg talked about it. This is why I really enjoyed having Rosberg on the side instead of Jenson, because Jenson sometimes he hides stuff from guys, because he says that one day he wants to come back to racing. You see, but. Nico says things as is. Nico told us, he even told us about cooling packs. Dude, I never knew that there are different levels of cooling packs, and the higher level you go, the more you have to take off on the car and the lower downforce you have. Like, I never knew that. That was a learning curve for me, you see. He also spoke about the qualifying setups and the race setup. What's different? Because you're not allowed to touch the race setup. I mean, you're not allowed to touch the setup the moment the car goes out to qualifying, and that same setup is what will go during race pace. So
the rules.
Yes, the only thing they do is they will loosen the front to get rid of the understeer, and then they'll tighten it the next. He spoke about so much, but that was one of the things that was a big learning gap for me. You see, and another thing he also spoke about was what was it? He even said Mercedes still has the same heating issues it's always had, you see. And then times. Now let's move on to times. Vettel hasn't been slow, guys, to be honest. From number 14,
if we look at just like qualifying in general, because people are saying, oh, how could Sebastian not get out of Q2? Well, Leclerc is. Their fastest time between the three qualifyings were less than 0.2 seconds apart.
Ivan, another thing is that
they were less than 2/10 from each other in terms of raw pace. So I don't know how people can say that one is driver slow.
He didn't get into Q3 because of 0.002 over. Do you know how small that is?
Yeah, it was minuscule.
And another thing is that during his lap, Vettel messed up in the first, and we all know that Spain is a very, on tire day, the rear tires suffer a lot, especially in the third sector, because you see you've used up so much of your rear traction that by the time you get into the rear part to the third part of the track, you have no grip at all. And you see, we saw that with Vettel. Vettel messed up. He messed up in the first sector, and that's why he lost. But he came back slowly in the second and the third sector, but it was not enough for him to get into Q3. But this is the thing, the gap between number 14th to number 4 right now is so damn close. It's scary, guys.
It's like less than like 0.3 of a second.
Exactly.
Between like 10 different drivers.
Like, if this guy is all it needs, if you have a perfect lap, you're making, that's basically your phone right now. If you have a perfect lap, you're making it into Q3. If you mess
Unless
up,
you're Mercedes, in which case you're a second ahead of everyone else. But
Mercedes,
everyone that's not Mercedes, then
Mercedes can mess up. But what we really need, I'm sorry to the Hamilton fans, but we really need Hamilton to get a DNF so that we can have a proper title battle.
There's a lot of like people get confused when people like me or people like you talk about Mercedes and talk about Hamilton and how we don't want them to perform. It's nothing against the team. It's nothing against the team. It's against the fact that we don't want to just watch a 1-2 of a Mercedes. I'm sure Mercedes fans enjoy it. As people who actually enjoy racing, we hate it. We want to see closer battles. We want to see a championship that's separated by a few points, not by 50, 60 points. So people have to realize, like, when we talk about this stuff, we're not saying that we hate Hamilton, we want him to do bad, we just want a closer fight in the championship.
And you see, one thing guys don't get, Ivan, is that as you said, we don't have a problem with Mercedes. But we have seen it's been so good. How many years has this been, honestly? 6 years. Like, we've gotten bored.
Yeah, 2014.
Mercedes fans have gotten to the point where they don't even watch races. And to them, they find it interesting. They're like, Hamilton, what did Hamilton win, dude? It was just, there was no strategy. You see, like, to be honest, last year we had some good races. Where
2018, 2019 was okay. Yeah.
Where we had strategy. You see, when strategy also comes into play, this is what makes Formula 1 interesting. Because you see, nowadays a pit stop, dude, guys are doing pit stops. A full pit stop. It depends. Okay, it depends on the track, but sometimes a pit stop can take 15 seconds. You're out. You see?
Yeah, it's less than 20 seconds most of the time.
Exactly. And that plays a big part in the race. And I was watching, dude, I've been watching some F1 throwbacks, man. And let me not lie to you. We need some of those. We need some of that fight back, honestly. Right now, FIA needs to do something to slow down Mercedes. I don't know what it's gonna be. Hopefully, in Spa, okay, they say it's going to be a wet weekend, full wet weekend from Friday till Sunday. I don't know how entertaining that will be, but it's going to close.
Well, hopefully,
it'll make.
But the thing is, I still don't understand how, even if you're a Hamilton fan, how you enjoy watching this race. Because, like, take Spain for example. Lead every single race, be so far ahead that you can use any strategy you want and never have to worry about any other driver. How is that entertaining to watch as a fan? Like, even if you're a fan of Hamilton, how is it entertaining to watch someone do nothing, like quote unquote nothing, like, because he was never challenged?
Done a thing. Exactly. He hasn't. What has he done? He hasn't done a thing. And you see, guys get so offended when you say this, but you know what? That's your problem now. I really don't care anymore. These guys are making the sport boring. And this is why I always use WRC as an example. In WRC, we have 4 titles. Okay, even though WRC, we had some boring years where Loeb really dominated, followed by OJ. But you see, Tanak came and Tanak won. And that was one of the most interesting title chases we've seen in a while. And this year is going to be almost as interesting. You see, we need that. We need the same thing to come into Formula One. And that will make even guys arguing more interesting. Because right now, what Mercedes, you'll try and argue the Mercedes fan, you'll hit them with facts. Like someone came and told me that Mercedes sorted their overheating issues. Mercedes, which I do not see any update. If guys follow me on Instagram, you've seen I always post the updates that come during a weekend.
Yeah.
Ferrari didn't have upgrades. Red Bull had upgrades. They just
had the chassis upgrade for
exactly. Red Bull had upgrades. Renault had upgrades. Racing Point had upgrades. I think it was only Mercedes didn't have any upgrades. And guys do not. It seems like guys do not understand that track layout makes a big difference, man.
But it's not only track layout. It's Barcelona. They have already done 2,000 laps on that track this year alone.
Exactly.
Like, it's their testing track. They know how the cars behave. They know how those tires behave on that track. So they have all this data that I think they just weren't worried.
Yes.
Because they knew that they had harder compounds. They knew how their cars act on this track. So they just set them up to be nicer to tires. And that's it.
And also, by the Ivan, I was reading on the rake. Red Bull says that they still really believe on the rake setup. That, okay, right now it may have issues, but this is the thing. There's something Christian normally says. We've seen Mercedes pumping up the rear of the car. And Mercedes
everyone has slowly been going more rake rather than flat.
Actually, Racing Point is the other ones who've changed a bit. Because Racing Point, last year they were running rake. This year, not so much. Compared to Mercedes, the rear of that car right now is really pumped. They're running proper rake setup, you see. And it is working for them. So what is the problem with Red Bull right now? Because Max has the pace, but I think there's something Red Bull needs. I'm not sure what it is, but there's something Red Bull needs to catch up to.
I mean, they've been slowly improving, I would say. In the Renault era of Red Bull, even though they had a good, strong engine and aero package, when it worked, they won quite a few races.
Yes.
But the reliability of the Renault was letting them down.
It was so bad.
Now they have Honda, which actually has been a lot more reliable than Renault.
Yes.
But it just doesn't have enough power, I think, to keep up with the Mercedes. Because they had those recent charts that they released where they said, they're only 20 horsepower down or 30 horsepower down. But I think in a Formula One car, that only 20 horsepower is a lot of lap time.
That is a lot. Also, this one thing I noticed about, because I've been watching I've been rewatching this game from the 2011 to the 2014 season, and you tend to notice that Red Bull always have a slow start to the season. It was only, I think, 2013 where they had now a strong start to the season. But if you compare to like 2011 they had a really bad start to the season. You see, where they weren't even in the top 5. And then they just started fighting. How Seb won that title then is That was.
I mean, he won 9 races in a row, so that helps.
that is a good title fight. You see, because Sebastian, even though Red Bull domination was one of the most interesting dominations in a Formula 1 because these guys did not have outright pace immediately. There were years where we thought Red Bull isn't going to win this time. And
there was a lot of politics within the team as well, between the drivers as well, so that at least kept it interesting. It wasn't just, hi Bottas, let's wait for Hamilton.
No. Bottas really needs to pick up the pace. I don't know what Bottas is gonna do, but Bottas really needs to pick up the pace. By the another thing, guys, the Concord agreement has been signed by I think all teams now.
Yeah, everyone has signed it.
And then we have 4 new additions to the calendar. We have Turkey. Turkey is back. Dude, this year's calendar is fire. We're going to run Bahrain twice, and it's going to end with Abu Dhabi. What else?
So we have a 17 race season, so we all basically have a full season again.
Yes.
Don't say just 1 race short of being a full season.
But this is Hamilton's season, let's not even lie. This is Hamilton's. Now, Ivan, another thing that we said we're going to talk about was the getting rid of that qualifying engine, the party mode. That's what it's referred to. Guys assume that it's going to level the playing.
It's not going to do anything.
Qualifying.
It honestly isn't.
Do you know what goes into qualifying? Like, there's so much that goes into qualifying. It's unbelievable. Like guys just assume it's just the engine mode. No, it's not the engine mode. There's a whole list of things that go into qualifying, which Mercedes is still gonna be a second ahead. Let me not even lie. Because race pace already they're a second ahead. Slowing them down will not do anything unless maybe it's too hot and they give us a softer compound. That's the only way that Mercedes is gonna be on normal level. You see. And even I was reading something. The new tracks, which is Nürburgring, Imola, and Portimao, and Turkey. I think only 2 drivers have raced there. 2 drivers have raced. Hamilton raced in Imola in 2006. We have Kimi has been in Formula 1.
As Formula 1 goes. I think because those Nürburgring was still quite recent.
Yeah.
And Turkey. But Imola, F1 hasn't raced at Imola since like 2005 or 2006. So I think it's either like Kimi, and that's it, who's raced at Imola. And I think at Nürburgring it's all these older drivers like Vettel, Hamilton.
Hamilton has raced
who else
at
do we
Imola.
have?
Hamilton raced at Imola in 2006. I'm not sure.
But that was F2. That was an F1.
Yeah. That was an F2. Well, anyway, let's. I think we move on to our predictions for this weekend. Or do you have anything to add up on the Spanish Grand Prix?
No, nothing. As I said, it wasn't a surprise that it was boring because history has shown that the Spanish Grand Prix is always being boring just because teams spend so much time there. They've done thousands of laps, so there's nothing that can throw them out unless it's rains, which it didn't. So
unless you're Grosjean.
Unless you're Grosjean.
And unless you're Grosjean.
What that guy's doing with his life right now.
Haas is staying in Formula. Okay, I didn't expect them to stay for the next year's season, or rather for the new regulations. And funny enough, they've signed the Concord agreement. They've said they're staying because the playing field is gonna be leveled a bit. You see, because so much comes into play with the new regulations, which Haas have said they want to stay there, and I'm not sure if they're gonna stay with their driver lineup. I think they're gonna change it up a bit. Alpha.
Definitely Grosjean,
Grosjean. No, Ivan, come on. We can't. Grosjean is a cartoon and a half, man. We can't lose that character in F1. Like, who drives like that and comes and blames everyone else?
And the thing is, it's like that's been his history. Like, he's been in F1 for a while. If you think he's been since 2012 or 2011, I think he joined.
Grosjean has been in F1, I think, since. Wait, no, 2011. No, when was Kimi was in?
He joined Lotus. He joined Lotus with Kimi. So I think that was 2011 or 2012, around that time.
When Kimi came back from WRC. When was that?
Yeah.
When Kimi came back from WRC.
I think it was either 2011 or 2012. It was around that time.
Grosjean has been in F1 since 2012. Wait. And yet Grosjean has held on to his seat. How he's done that, but come on, he can be an idiot sometimes. But Grosjean has had his moments in Formula One where he even had to go through therapy for that. You remember? Which was the last day. He's had a few serious crashes. Anyway, let's talk about Spa. So Spa with Mercedes pace. Okay, the rain. If it actually rains, this will. Rain levels the playing field by default. No matter how
because
quick
the aero doesn't
is,
matter as much, the engines don't matter as much. Yeah, it helps everything get sort of closer together.
So if you can get another German Grand Prix, that will make things so damn interesting, eh? What do you think? And in Spa especially. Hello?
Yeah.
And in Spa especially, dude, that will make things so damn interesting, eh? Because, okay, Spa is a really, really quick track. It's not slow. So if it actually, hopefully, please, I just hope it's a full wet weekend so that we get to see practice rain, qualifying rain, and race rain. It'll make things, it'll give us a race. And hopefully, Mercedes fans, I'm sorry for that, but hopefully, Hamilton does not finish this one so that we can have a good title fight. Because we just need Hamilton to have one DNF and Max to win. Okay, if Max wins Spa and Hamilton gets a DNF, that means that Hamilton will be how many points in front?
Not much. The thing, he doesn't even need to win. If Hamilton DNFs and Verstappen or Bottas finish on the podium at all, it already closes the gap to like less than 20 points. So even that is just enough on its own.
Anyway, Mercedes fans will take this badly, Evan, but you know what? That's a problem. But anyway, my prediction. Okay, if it doesn't rain, my prediction is Mercedes are gonna be so damn quick on this track if it doesn't rain. So that's gonna be Mercedes 1-2, and I think Red Bull, and I think we're gonna see a closer gap with the Ferraris because this is a good track for Ferrari. So I feel.
But it was a good track for Ferrari. Remember, the only reason they did really well in this for the past 2 years is because of their engine, which they don't have anymore.
Let's see.
It's a very this is like to bring out how bad Ferraris was. They had a live stream with Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. They were playing some games. And Norris said that even if Leclerc leads through Eau Rouge, by the end of the straight, he'll be last. Because it just shows how slow the Ferrari is in a straight line. That even other drivers have noticed it as well.
Let's see how our race pace. This is why I can't wait for FP1 tomorrow. Because, by the way, for guys who want to watch practice, this is how you watch it. FP1 is normally long run pace. FP2 is quali runs most of the time. Sometimes they'll push it to FP3 depending on the weather. In FP2 and the FP1 times, that's what's gonna tell you how the race is going to go and on what tire they will go and how that tire is. In Spain, the hard tire was the most useless tire because I remember Ivan Bottas was the first driver to complain about it, and that was in practice. He went out, Bottas said, "Yo, this tire is useless." I thought Mercedes were joking. Not even a minute later, Norris sent the same message to the pit wall, saying that, these hard tires are crap. And I don't know why Red Bull pulled that decision. Anyway, let's move on. So what's your prediction, Ivan? Okay, for me, if it rains, I do not see... if it rains, I can't give a prediction. But in the dry, may I say Mercedes, number 2 Red Bull, and I'll stick to Ferrari. I'll stick to Ferrari for that 3rd or 4th place. Because right now, after that disappointing, we were 3rd in the championship, but now, after that disappointing performance, which really embarrassed Sebastian Banner, we are 5th. So, by the Ivan, another thing is that the rumor on Sebastian moving to Aston Martin might be confirmed this weekend, by the way. It might be.
They've been saying this for the past 4 weeks, so I'm not giving my hopes up.
I see. Do you see? Because he's gotten what's this? The 24 hours. What's it normally called? WTA or something.
The WTC, you mean?
Yes, WTC series. He's gotten an offer. So I'm not really sure if he'll move there. But let's see. Hopefully, I don't want to see Sebastian leave Formula One. You see, I want to see maybe Magnussen. I want to say Grosjean. We need to keep Grosjean in Formula One. Grosjean is a character and a half. Magnussen can go. So anyway, what's your prediction for this weekend?
Well, as you said, if it's a wet weekend, it's going to be a little bit harder to predict because we haven't actually had a wet. Well, we had Hungary, but that was just like a couple of minutes of a semi-wet track, and then it all went back to normal.
That wasn't wet.
So we haven't actually had a proper wet race where we could see how cars do. So if it's a wet race, it'll be a lot harder to predict. But if it's a dry race, even though Toto Wolff recently said, Mercedes hasn't won at Spa since 2017, this year is a bit different. They're so far ahead that it'll be really difficult to see any other team beating them.
Yes.
As far as everyone else, I think if Racing Point can get their stuff together, I think they'll be second, to be honest, if they can sort everything out, because I think they have a much stronger package for tracks like this than Red Bull, and then I think Red Bull will finish off most probably with Max, because I don't see Albon doing anything. So I think it'll be one of the Mercedes or Mercedes 1-2, then a Racing Point, and then a Red Bull.
Okay, Ivan, another thing I wanted to comment on. This is on Albon. I feel like if Gasly was brought into Red Bull right now and he wasn't put on, if he's treated the same way he's being treated in Toro Rosso, where he's just given a car and told boss, just go and drive, I feel like Gasly would perform very, very well in Red Bull. But you see, the problem was that he came into Red Bull with so much pressure that you could even see when Gasly would speak, he would be terrified. You see?
Yeah.
So I feel like if he's brought, they can't bring him up, that would be unfair to Albon. But the way they've been speaking, that's the same way they were speaking before they demoted Gasly. The way they're speaking about Albon now is the same way they were speaking about him before. About Gasly when he was demoted, you see. So, but this is the thing, they don't have another option. Right now they just...
I don't think they'll do it just because I think they'll be worried of looking like clowns. Honestly,
yes.
Like every 6 months changing drivers just because they don't perform.
They can't do that. And also another thing, guys, Renault pulled out of the appeal on the Racing Point. So now it's just Ferrari there. Okay, I don't know why the hell Renault did that. Like that was a stupid move. That was a very, very stupid move. Unless they've started cheating also then. No, like think about it, Ivan. Why would they do that?
I think they're mostly not wanting to invest money into a legal battle more than anything else. Because it does cost quite a bit of money to go to put this legally.
Renault has the money, yeah? These guys have the money to do it. So why pull out? And you guys are the ones who started. You said from the start where you want this to go. You wanted it to go to the court. They said it from the start, you see. They wanted to know if this is legal. They wanted to know what's on that car. So why would you pull out suddenly now? Like, I don't find it fair. Okay, Ferrari is going to pursue this. Ferrari is going to go till they want to see what's in the Mercedes car also. You see?
Yeah,
so it's going to make things very, very interesting. Yeah? So is there anything else to add?
I think the only other thing we can close off on is like sort of just talk about why we film sort of a lot later than just right after the race. Like, why don't we film on a Sunday or a Monday? And it's mostly because we wanna. This is more of a F1 podcast rather than an F1 race review or an F1 race preview. We're talking about F1 and all the news that happened in F1. This is why we shoot a little bit later, is because around this time, around Thursday, right before FP1, is when most of the news is out and we can cover as much of it as we possibly can. So there's an answer of people who are curious why we shoot late. It's just we want to cover as much news about F1 as we can.
And by then, news is normally confirmed. We don't normally get... You see, guys, by Thursday, we normally take our time because by Thursday, everything is confirmed. It's not rumors, it's not this... Everything is confirmed, and you see, we try and get as much news as possible. Because if we're shooting after the race, dude, Sunday's race, the Spanish race was boring. That would be a 5-minute video. Like, what's that to talk about? You see, we don't have enough talking points to shoot just immediately after the race. We don't see the point of doing that. We took our time this week because last week I did the WRC video and we really needed that to go up. You see, so other than that, I think WRC is coming back. We're gonna start shooting WRC again also. We're gonna try and mix it up. I don't know when we'll be posting the videos. Anyway, we'll find out that when the time comes. But for now, I think that's all for today.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So I'd like to thank everyone who's watched. Please share with your friends, subscribe, like the video, comment. Don't be scared to leave your comments below. You see, we don't mind comments at all. Actually, we enjoy because it's a learning curve for everyone. Anyway, thanks guys for watching.